Guardians. We've stood in the Traveler's Light, faced the witness, and stopped the final shape. But as we close one chapter, Bungie is opening another for something new, something bold, something different. Today we're diving deep into Codename Frontiers. Bungie dropped a collection of dev insight articles a few months back, and in this video, we're unpacking everything. From expansion structure changes to narrative innovations, new activity systems, and where Destiny's next great saga begins. Buckle in, this is the start of something big. In celebration of Destiny's 10th anniversary, Bungie gave us a glimpse of what's next. Codename Frontiers isn't just a name, it's a direction, a whole new phase for the game. One of the biggest changes? Instead of one major expansion per year, Bungie is shifting to 2 medium-sized expansions, released every 6 months. This isn't just a scheduling tweak, it's a creative liberation. Bungie wants to move away from the formula of one-shot campaigns we've seen since Shadowkeep. Instead, they're experimenting with non-linear storytelling, exploration-heavy formats like the Dreaming City, and even exploring genres like roguelikes and survival gameplay. Each of these expansions will launch alongside major updates, 4 per year, 1 every 3 months. These aren't paid seasons, they're free, and they'll refresh the core game with new and returning activities like strikes, exotic missions, or new modes like Onslaught. They'll also include new loot, artifact mods, balance changes, and weekly events. Destiny's core loop has gotten bloated. Bungie knows it, so they're overhauling 2 key things. Approachability. A cleaner UI and activity navigation system are on the way. This will come primarily through the portal, which we'll discuss later in the video. Gear and challenge. A new challenge customization system will allow you to dial up difficulty and get better loot across PvE and PvP, including high-end adept and artifice style rewards in more places. Enemies will also be getting new modifiers. They won't just hit harder, there will be new and unique gameplay twists. We've already seen this a little bit with Banes. Narratively, we're entering a brand new multi-year saga, and it kicks off with Codename Apollo. What makes Apollo different? It's non-linear. You land in a new destination and choose which threads to follow. Maybe C before B or D before A, but every thread contributes to progressing the story. It's open-ended, but not directionless. There's also no time gating. The story moves forward as you play, and while Bungie isn't spilling the beans on the theme just yet, they promise that Apollo ends with a narrative gasoline that will ignite the next few years of Destiny storytelling. Game director Tyson Green said it best, Destiny needs to break its molds. The passion is still there, and they're taking the risk to keep it evolving. Narrative director Allison Lurs reinforced that this new arc will feel like a constellation of stories, not a straight line. It's about mystery, evolution, and giving new characters and factions the space to grow. It's clear that Codename Frontiers isn't just about adding content, it's about redefining what Destiny can be. And if Apollo is just the beginning, we're in for a ride that'll take us well beyond the stars we've already charted. If you've ever looked at Destiny's director and felt overwhelmed by icons, unclear rewards, or not knowing where the fun actually is, you're not alone. In their second developer insight, Bungie's tackling one of Destiny's most persistent issues, the core game loop. Let's start with what core game even means. It's the always available backbone of Destiny. Strikes, Crucible, dungeons, public events, and more. The activities we return to over and over, especially when the seasonal stuff dries up. The new plan? Every major update, which, remember, now we get 4 times a year, will feature a rotating selection of new and updated core activities tied to the current theme and gameplay sandbox. These will span all types, and better yet, they'll now come with 2 massive quality of life changes: challenge customization and the portal interface. Let's briefly talk about the portal. This is Destiny's new access hub for core content. A sleek, centralized screen where you can find activities grouped by fireteam size, difficulty, and type. No more digging through the director and guessing what's worth your time. The portal is designed to streamline your play sessions, whether you're flying in solo or with a full fireteam. Now this is where it gets really interesting. Bungie is introducing a robust challenge customization system for PvE activities. Instead of picking difficulty tiers like Hero or Legend, you'll now be able to activate specific challenge modifiers that change the experience in meaningful ways. Some modifiers will give enemies new abilities, others might push you to rethink your build or change encounter dynamics entirely. And importantly, the more you stack on, the better the reward rating you can earn. Every activity now has a reward rating, which is a combo of team performance and individual bonuses, like your artifact level or power. The higher your reward rating, the better your loot. Higher tier weapons, artifice-like armor, ascendant mats, the good stuff. Team rating is shared across the fire team and doesn't punish you for not scoring top kills. It's designed to reward cooperation, not competition. Now, all of this is great for PvE activities, but what about PvP? Well, Crucible's still being figured out. Bungie admits that scoring and modifiers don't translate well to PvP, but they're actively exploring ways to make high-tier PvP loot accessible through a fair and satisfying path. So expect more news there in the future. As of now, Bungie has already looked at lowering the barrier for entry in modes like Trials, while making competitive the place for high-end PvP activity. Some quick hits from their FAQ section. Expansion activities will remain relevant and rewarding, but core game content is now a primary loot source. Old content isn't being deleted, but some outdated options like Vanguard Ops and other things will gradually transition into the portal system. And yes, matchmaking is supported for some challenge levels, but going deep into custom modifiers will require pre-made fire teams. This is Bungie rethinking Destiny's foundation, giving players more agency, more clarity, and more reason to jump into the stuff that makes Destiny tick day to day. It's no longer about chasing the newest seasonal event, it's about mastery, variety, and making every session rewarding. So now that we know how we'll engage with Destiny 2's ritual content, let's talk about why. In this next dev insight, Bungie tackled the reward ecosystem, and the big takeaway is this. They're building a loot system that finally respects your time, your skill, and your mastery of certain activities. In an effort to spice up the variability in weapons, Bungie is adding tiers to legendary gear. Think of it like a loot ladder. The baseline gear is what we're used to today, but increase the difficulty or stack challenge modifiers, and you'll start seeing higher tier drops, stat boosted armor, enhanced perks on weapons, and benefits on par with adept weapons or artifice gear. And this isn't just for Grandmasters or raids. You'll be able to chase these high tier items across core game activities. If you're good enough to beat the challenge, you deserve the reward, no matter where you're playing. Another pain point has been the lack of worthwhile loot outside a small set of seasonal activities. Bungie's fixing that with dedicated reward pools for every major activity category. Here's how it breaks down. Core PvE, strikes and accessible activities. Core PvP, or Crucible in general playlist. Pinnacle PvE are dungeons and harder PvE content, while Pinnacle PvP are trials and competitive Crucible. Plus, there's going to be 2 full rewards pools for every expansion, one for story content and one for its raid or dungeon. Each pool contains full armor sets and multiple weapons per slot, so you're not just farming for weapons, you're building a complete loadout. During each season, all newly introduced loot is tagged as new gear. This gear will be clearly labeled in-game and often synergized with artifact bonuses for easier build crafting. This has 2 major benefits. Players know what's fresh and powerful at a glance, and it creates low-friction build opportunities with bonuses tied to gear, not just specific perks. There may also be special activities that use new gear only, like a Crucible mode where everyone is on even footing using the latest items. Crafting is sticking around, but with a more defined role: catch-up and consistency. Can't get the god roll you wanted? Missed a drop from a retired source? Crafting is going to help fill in the gaps, and not replace the chase, but support it. Some quick clarifications. No, older gear isn't being sunset. It can still hit power cap, and it remains viable everywhere. You'll still be able to get old weapons and armor from their original sources, and yes, crafting is still a part of the long-term plan, but now as a companion system, not the default path. And while I do think that the drop rates on Shiny Adept and Shiny Adept loot should be a little bit more, this is the kind of chase that personally I'm looking for in Destiny 2. Expect something similar in Codename Frontiers. Let's face it, Destiny 2's director, aka the destinations page, has become a bloated mess. Over time, it's turned into a graveyard of icons, quest markers, and hidden gems buried under layers of clutter. Bungie knows it, and they're replacing it with something fresh, intuitive, and way easier to use. Introducing the Portal. The Portal is your new home screen for Destiny 2's activities. It's clean, categorized, and updated in every major update with a fresh batch of curated content tied to the current season, expansion, and sandbox meta. This isn't just a facelift, it's a full rethink of how you get into content and why. Gone are the days of asking, what's worth running today? Every activity featured in the Portal will offer updated, valuable rewards, be organized by team size, difficulty, and time commitment, and clearly mark daily bonus drops so you know exactly where to spend your time. Here's the lineup. Solo ops, 1 to 3 player content with low time and coordination demands, great for hopping in solo or with a buddy. Fire team ops, the classic 3-player fire team stuff, like strikes, onslaught, the coil, and whatever new additions may come. Flashpoint ops, coming later. 6-player match-made chaos, think offensives or seasonal playlist. Pinnacle ops, dungeons, exotic missions, and tougher versions of onslaughts, real challenge, real loot. Crucible, competitive and casual PvP with its own exclusive rewards. You'll also get direct access to expansion content and active events like Iron Banner or seasonal festivities. Every day, multiple activities in each category will feature bonus loot, specific weapons, armor slots, or currencies like Ascendant Shards. These are prominently marked and sorted to the top of the portal, so you can jump right into what's hot without having to guess or research. So what happens to the old destination map? It's getting demoted. Bungie's trimming it down to focus on navigating the world and launching legacy content. Over time, offerings like Vanguard Ops will be absorbed into the portal system. The portal will also eventually host a streamlined objective tracker. Think bounties, seasonal challenges, and quest progress all in one place. And it should cut down on pre-game busy work and get you into the action faster. Some quick hits. No, old activities aren't being removed, just reorganized. Gambit won't be in the portal at launch, but may return in a revised form. Raids are still under review. Bungie wants to bring them in eventually, but need to solve the complexity of matchmaking and reward scaling first. Dungeons will be featured under Pinnacle Ops, complete with challenge customization and reward rating. The portal marks a huge quality of life upgrade for Destiny's day-to-day play. Instead of swimming through icons and wondering what's worthwhile, you'll log in, open the portal, and find your fun, with rewards that respect your time. It's modern, modular, and a major step forward. Okay, let's talk about the grind. How many times have you run the same nightfall, same exotic mission, same story beat, over and over, just to chase a role or finish a quest step? And let's be honest, it gets stale, fast. Bungie's answer? A total overhaul of the modifier system, and a new focus on keeping gameplay feeling fresh every time you load in. While Banes are not new, they are a great example of what Bungie is doing with enemy modifiers and what to expect in Frontiers. These randomly applied modifiers give specific enemies new behaviors or abilities, like Pummel Banes, which can only be hurt by melees. These enemies appear dynamically during activities, meaning you won't know exactly what you're facing until it hits the field. These make each run feel unique. Suddenly that mid-rim acolyte you ignored last run might be a ticking time bomb, or immune to everything except your Titan's flying knee. These affect all enemies in an activity and fundamentally change how you approach combat. Bungie teased one involving enemies dropping traps, yes, traps, borrowed from a certain Scorned Baron. The idea is to keep you on your toes, and shift your strategies based on what's active. Of course, we've still got player-affecting modifiers, like Arc Surge, but Bungie knows these often feel like homework. They're working on more flexible and less restrictive combat modifiers, so you can play your build your way, while still feeling encouraged to mix things up. Quick hits. Champions aren't going away, but they won't have Banes. Enemies can only have one Bane at a time. Not all legacy modifiers are being replaced, but the older, less exciting ones will be retired over time. This system is Bungie's answer to replayability fatigue. By giving enemies new tools and making them behave differently every time, even familiar missions become dynamic puzzles, and that makes every reward earned along the way feel earned. By giving enemies new tools and making them behave differently every time, even familiar missions become dynamic puzzles, and that makes every reward earned along the way feel earned. Raids and dungeons have always been Destiny's crown jewels, where mechanics, coordination, and teamwork come together to make legendary moments. In this developer insight, Bungie laid out how they're evolving these pinnacle experiences in codename Frontiers. Spoiler, it's more rewarding, more playable, and has less paywalls. Here's the new rhythm. First expansion, which is codename Apollo, brings a brand new raid. The following major update expands that raid with new challenges, rewards, and a second race. The second expansion, codename Behemoth, adds a new dungeon. No dungeon key required. And the fourth major update of the year launches an experimental raider dungeon event inspired by the Pantheon. The annual raid will launch alongside the first expansion, continuing the tradition of day one world's first races and exclusive loot. But there is a twist. Bungie's adding a raid-specific challenge customization system called feats. Feats are optional modifiers that enforce things like time trials, contest mode combatants, and raid-specific mechanics that push your coordination to the limit. Activating more feats equals higher tier rewards, including adept-style loot and exclusive items. This is a huge step toward making raids feel fresh and scalable for teams of all skill levels, including the strongest and best players out there. 3 months after the raid drops, the next major update adds a full raid challenge update. This isn't just a master difficulty rehash, it includes new mechanics, new feats, new loot, and potentially even new encounters. This update also includes a second raid race. Yep, 2 races per year now, designed for veterans to flex their mastery and earn an exclusive exotic catalyst and additional drops. Dungeons are getting their moment too. With codename Behemoth, Bungie will drop a new dungeon alongside the expansion. And good news, no dungeon key is needed, there are full weapon and armor sets included, and a challenge customization enabled via the portal. If you love the Pantheon, Bungie's planning a new experimental RAD event in the final major update each year. These events remix legacy raid and dungeon content into wild, aspirational challenges. It offers something new for hardcore PvE players to tackle. I fondly look back on the Pantheon help days. I met loads of Guardians and made some forever friends during that time period. Dungeons will be fully baked into the portal's pinnacle ops, with challenge customization and reward ratings enabled. Raids, for now, will remain in their traditional launch points, but Bungie's actively exploring how to integrate them into the portal system in the future. Between customizable feats, mid-season raid updates, and fully fleshed out dungeons, codename Frontiers is turning Destiny's endgame into a sandbox for both challenge and experimentation. Whether you're racing for world's first, low-manning dungeons and raids, or theory crafting your own brutal modifier stack, this era of raids and dungeons is designed to be replayed, refined, and remembered. Let's be real. When was the last time armor felt exciting in Destiny 2? You grinded for high stat rolls, maybe even Artifice armor, masterworked it, and you never changed anything again. But with codename Frontiers, Bungie's giving armor a major glow up. First up, they're finally fixing stat scaling. No more tier gating every 10 points. From now on, every single point in a stat provides a benefit, and if you break 100, you unlock a whole second tier of effects that give deeper buildcraft bonuses. Stats aren't just changing in behavior, they're changing in how they roll too. Every piece of legendary armor will now have a stat archetype that gives it a focused role. Primary and secondary stats will be emphasized, tertiary dump stats will be minimized, and even class items, which are Warlock Bonds, Hunter Cloaks, and Titan Marks, will roll full stats. This is an example of a brawler archetype piece with spikes in strength. This will lead to spikier armor, that is, gear that's better at something and not just spread thin across irrelevant stats. Additionally, Bungie will be changing the name of Strength to Melee and Discipline to Grenade to make things easier to understand. Now here's the real shakeup: set bonuses. These are like origin traits for armor, activated by equipping 2 or 4 pieces of the same set. No 5-piece bonus, because most of us are rocking an exotic, but that's intentional. Here are some of the themes Bungie previewed. Tex Mechanica, Nonstop Aggression, Demolitions Expert, and Vanguard Operative. This is with their respective perks, depending on how many pieces you already have on. This system makes armor matter again, not just for stats, but for playstyle. Couple of quick notes from Bungie's FAQ. Your old armor will adapt to the new stat rules, but some stat types may shift depending on how they're reworked. Exotic armor is getting its own revamp later. They're still working on ways to bring exotics in line without adding excessive RNG. Exotic class items from the final shape will get a manual upgrade path. And yes, they know vault space is a problem. A solution may come with codename Behemoth, next year's second expansion. This overhaul is exactly what armor needed. With impactful stats, set-based perks, and less buildcraft punishment, you'll finally be able to swap pieces around without your whole setup falling apart. In codename Frontiers, armor won't just be gear, it'll be identity. Not every Guardian has an hour to spare, or a full fire team on standby. Sometimes you just want to jump in, fight some enemies, and make progress in 10 minutes or less. That's exactly where Solo Ops comes in. Solo Ops are a new activity category built around short, focused missions that can be completed solo or with up to 2 other players. These missions are about 10 minutes long, easy to pick up, flexible in difficulty with challenge customization, and most importantly, they respect your time. They aren't buildcraft gauntlets or sweaty damage checks. Instead, they celebrate what makes Destiny fun: clean, responsive combat and a satisfying gameplay loop. Solo ops are designed with mission variety in mind. You'll face different enemy factions, objective types, and even randomized content during runs. Things like treasure goblins, which is a new challenger and modifier that Bungie's working on. Secret rooms, hidden chests, optional objectives. These will appear unpredictably, keeping every run fresh. Behind the scenes, there's a dynamic spawn system monitoring your performance, location, and pacing. When things slow down or you're crushing things too easily, the system can spawn extra enemy squads from unexpected directions. This is all in an effort to keep things exciting and fresh. Despite being bite-sized, solo ops still support full reward rating and challenge modifiers, just like the other core game content. That means if you ramp up the difficulty, you'll get better loot. If you explore, score well, and complete optional objectives, your loot tier improves as well. No more being locked out of powerful gear just because you didn't want to group up or commit to a 40-minute strike. One of the coolest aspects, Bungie is using solo ops to reinvigorate underused locations across Destiny's universe. From one-off story areas to completely unused zones like Salzwerks on the EDZ, solo ops will take you to familiar spaces with unfamiliar twists. These missions are a love letter to Destiny's world design, giving you reasons to revisit or discover some of the game's most beautiful and forgotten locales. Quick hits. Can I play solo ops with others? You can play solo ops in a fire team, but they won't support matchmaking. If you want speed and efficiency with friends, fire team ops is your go-to. Will solo ops include Banes, champions, other modifiers? Banes will likely be supported for extra variety, but Bungie's curating modifiers carefully so that they don't overwhelm solo players. Champions and higher complexity mechanics are still TBD. They're testing which ones make sense without making things too punishing. Solo ops fills a long-standing gap in Destiny's playlist. Fast, fun, low-stress PvE you can do solo and still walk away with worthwhile rewards. Whether you're warming up for a raid or just vibing on a lunch break, solo ops might just become your new go-to. Destiny's been around for a long time, and like any game that lives this long, it's had its highs and lows. But Frontiers? This feels like a fresh start. Bungie's not just adding content, they're rebuilding the foundation, giving us better systems, smarter progression, and way more freedom in how we play. 2 expansions a year, free seasonal updates, customizable difficulty, better loot, and even fast solo missions when you've only got 15 minutes? That's huge! I mean, if you've ever felt burned out, overwhelmed, or like the game wasn't made for your playstyle, this new era is Bungie literally saying, "We hear you, let's do better." I'm honestly excited to see where all this goes. Whether you're grinding for god rolls, diving into lore, or just vibing with friends, Frontiers looks like a big dub for everybody. Let's see what the next 10 years of Destiny can be. What are you excited for in Frontiers? Comment down below and let me know. Bye! If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and check out the videos on screen for more Destiny 2 content. Bye!